And when it comes actually to the programme, we all know now the results of the comprehensive spending review. We're certainly looking still for details from individual government departments, but local government is taking a cut of funding or general funding of 28% in practice because it raises funds from other areas. The cut is perhaps going to be nearer 16%. But the NHS isn't in theory taking a cut, but the demand for services is likely to increase by 4% each year. So the NHS is actually in real terms, compared to demand, going to have a very tough time, and that will apply to all public sector organisations. Now, Francis Maude is taking an approach that he can, of tight loose. In other words, he can tackle central government, and he will argue that he has a mandate to tackle central government, but tackling the wider public sector is much more difficult, and so the wider public sector, in a sense, has got to sort itself out. But if you actually talk to people in the Efficiency and Reform group, as I do, then the idea of devolution to the wider public sector and allowing the wider public sector to sort out its own efficiencies, I think quite frankly, will only go so far. And if the wider public sector starts to use slash and burn, perhaps as opposed to adopting a much more intelligent approach, then sooner or later constituents are going to start complaining to their MPs, and central government will then actually have to start looking and say, well, can we allow the wider public sector the sort of devolution or the capability, or can we allow it the freedom to actually deliver efficiencies when the messages we're getting back is that it's not capable of doing so. So this topic is extremely important. Today is not about slash and burn, it is about efficiency and reform. You've got the programmes. All I say is that we have an absolutely superb set of speakers today. I'm absolutely delighted with the speakers we've got. Very sorry that Graham White can't speak because he's quite a mesmerising speaker, but nevertheless, you'll have to live with me this afternoon talking about shared services and outsourcing. There's various sources of data that may be useful to organisations. OGC, I suppose that ought to be Efficiency and Reform Group, but I haven't checked. I think the website is still probably OGC, and that gives you details of public sector purchasing spend. Rapid Gateway gives you details of analyses of various expenditure, and local council websites are now increasingly showing procurement analyses. But there's also a debate about the conference, and it'll be on Twitter, and I guess it can start, it's either tomorrow or Monday, and you can start exchanging messages about the conference as well. And anything more you want to know will be on the public service website.